Sam Elliott always looked like the guy who could handle anything. But even legends get blindsided. One bad deal, one long break, or one quiet sacrifice can change a life fast. Behind the cowboy image is a real man with bills, pressure, and choices most people never see. Lately, there's been talk about money, stress, music, and why he still keeps working. So, what's true? What's been twisted? And what has Sam actually said about the life he's living now? He rode into Hollywood with grit and that unforgettable voice. Join us as we rewind his journey from the very beginning and see how life looks for him now, after the money rumors and the pressure. The boy from Sacramento who learned work comes first. Samuel Pack Elliot was born on August 9, 1944 at Sutter Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California. He grew up with parents who carried strong Texas roots. His mother, Glenmai Sparks, had been a Texas State diving champion in high school and later worked as a physical training instructor and high school teacher. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, worked as a predator control specialist for the Department of the Interior. Sam later shared that both he and his dad loved the outdoors and that part of his father's work was in what he called predatory and rodent control. And that's why when Sam decided to chase acting, it probably felt like he was switching teams. His parents were originally from El Paso, Texas, and Sam even had an ancestor music who served as a surgeon at the Battle of San Jacinto. When Sam was 13, the family moved from California to Portland, Oregon. He spent his teenage years in Northeast Portland and graduated from David Douglas High School in 1962. After that, he tried college at the University of Oregon, studying English and psychology, but he only stayed for 2 terms before dropping out. He returned to Portland and attended Clark College in nearby Vancouver, Washington. There he completed a 2-year program and landed music, a stage role as Big Jewel in Guys and Dolls. The Vancouver Columbian newspaper even suggested he should become a professional actor. He tried the University of Oregon again after graduating from Clark in 1965 and pledged Sigma Alpha Epsilon. But life hit hard when his father died of a heart attack and Sam dropped out again. Still, the pull toward acting didn't go away, and soon he was heading toward the place his father warned him about, Hollywood, the big move to Los Angeles against the odds. In the late 1960s, Sam Elliott relocated to Los Angeles to pursue acting, even though his father had pushed him to get a college degree. Instead, Sam later remembered his dad giving him a blunt warning. You've got a snowball's chance in hell of having a career in Hollywood. But Sam also said his father was a realist and a hard worker and that he built his own work ethic from that example and thanked him for it every day. In Los Angeles, Sam didn't float in on luck. He worked music, construction while studying acting. He also served in the California Air National Guard's 146th Airlift Wing, known as the Hollywood Guard at Van New York Airport. Much later, the unit moved to Channel Islands Air National Guard Station in 1990. But at the time it was one more sign of how Sam kept his life grounded while he chased music, the dream. And then the first real doors started opening. His look, his voice, and the way he carried himself fit Westerns perfectly. So he began working as a character actor. In 1969, he earned his first television credit as Dan Kenyon on Judd for the Defense in an episode called The Crystal Maze. That same year, he appeared in Lancer as a character named Renslow in the episode Death Bait, and he returned for 2 more episodes between Music, 1970 and 1971. He also had an early film moment in 1969's Music, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, playing a card player who watches the Sundance Kid music played by Robert Redford show off his shooting skills in the opening scene in the 1970 to 1971 television season. Sam appeared for several episodes as Doug Robert in the hit series Mission Impossible. These early roles didn't make him a household name overnight, but they built something important. A steady rise, one job at a time. And once he had a foothold, the next step wasn't just acting. It was becoming a face people remembered. The look, the voice, and the breakthrough years. By the early 1970s, Sam Elliott was starting to look like a man built for westerns, and people noticed. Music, in 1972, he appeared as the cowboy walker in Falstaff beer commercials, which helped his face and voice stick with the public. Bigger work followed. Music fast. In 1975, he was cast as Charles Wood in the TV film I Will Fight No More Forever, a story based on Chief Joseph's resistance during the forced removal of the Nez Perce people to a reservation in Idaho. From 1976 to 1977, he played the lead role of Sam Damon in the miniseries Once an Eagle, acting alongside Amy Irving, Kim Hunter, Clu Gulager, and Melanie Griffith. In 1976, he also had a major film breakthrough with Lifeguard. He played a Southern California lifeguard who starts questioning his life after being invited to a reunion. Reviews were not glowing across the board. Variety called the film unsatisfying and said Sam had beefcake value, but the role still proved something important. Music, he could carry a story, not just show up as a good-looking presence. From there, he kept adding credits that shaped his reputation. He played Tom Keating in the miniseries Aspen in 1977. In 1979, he co-starred with Tom Selleck in The Sacketts, a popular Lewis miniseries, and they teamed up again in 1982 for The Shadow Riders. Music, he also showed a darker edge in Murder in Texas in 1981 opposite Farrah Fawcett and Catherine Ross. In 1985, he starred with Cheryl Ladd in A Death in California, and Music appeared in Mask opposite Cher, where he played a kind, sympathetic biker and showed he could bring his rugged style into a modern story, too. By the late 1980s, he was landing roles that made him feel steady and reliable on screen, like his part in Prancer in 1989. In 1986, he starred in Gone to Texas, portraying Sam Houston as Music, both a fighter and a man who grew into a political leader, with the story moving through disgrace, the Cherokee Nation, and the Texas Fight of 1836. By this stage, his tall frame, famous mustache, and deep draw had become his calling card, and the question was no longer whether he fit the Western image, but how far beyond it he could go. Love, legacy, and the kind of fame that follows you home. Sam Elliott kept taking roles that slowly widened what people expected from him. In 1989, he appeared with Patrick Seas in Roadhouse as Wade Garrett, a tough bouncer who also feels like a mentor and friend. A couple of years later, his work and his personal life started to overlap in a way the public couldn't ignore. He married actress Catherine Ross in 1984, and in 1991 the two starred together in the Lewis Moore adaptation Connor. By 1993, Sam was landing roles that cemented him as more than just the Western guy. He played Brigadier General John Buford in Gettysburg, and that same year he played Virgil Earp in Tombstone. It was the kind of part that fit him perfectly, but it also showed how much he'd grown into his own style. Then in 1998 he took on a different kind of presence as the stranger in The Big Lebowski, narrating the story like a calm guide. There's a famous behind-the-scenes moment from that film, too. The Coen brothers had him do 15 takes, music, of one scene, and when he asked why, they said, "Take 6 was perfect, but they just liked hearing him talk. That's the kind of respect you can't fake." That same year he was named Grand Marshal of the Calgary Stampede Parade and rode before an estimated 300,000 spectators. In the early 2000s he kept moving, co-starring in We Were Soldiers in 2002 as Command Sergeant Major Basil L. Plumley, then playing General Thaddeus Ross in Hulk in 2003. He also earned major recognition on television, including Golden Globe nominations for Connor and Buffalo Girls, with Buffalo Girls also bringing him a Music Primetime Emmy nomination. And through it all, his voice became part of his legacy too, music, including voicing Smokey the Bear. Later, he kept surprising people with strong TV work like Justified and even comedy on Parks and Recreation. He also showed a softer romantic side in I'll See You in My Dreams. Director Brett Haley said Sam was his first choice, and producer Rebecca Green said he brought an old-school Rhett Butler kind of romance. Sam summed up his career best with one simple line: "You never know what's going to come around the corner next." And that's the perfect setup for what came later, when the next corner didn't just bring a new role, but a new kind of pressure, a second wind, and a fresh new chapter. By the mid-2000s, Sam Elliott was still proving he could make any role feel real, even when it was small or unexpected. In 2005, he appeared in Thank You for Smoking as a former Marlboro Man-style cowboy who has developed lung cancer, a role that flipped his tough image into something more sobering. In 2006, he shifted into voice work as Ben the Cow in Barnyard. Then in 2007, he joined Ghost Rider as Carter Slade. And that same year, he played Lee Scoresby in The Golden Compass, a film based on Northern Lights from Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy alongside Nicole Kidman, Christopher Lee, and Daniel Craig. These parts kept his career moving and showed he could jump between styles without losing what made him Sam Elliott. In 2009, he appeared in Up in the Air as the chief pilot of American Airlines, and the film's ensemble cast earned a Critics' Choice Movie Award nomination for Best Acting Ensemble. He also popped up on Parks and Recreation as Ron Dunn, the Eagleton version of Ron Swanson, but with a funny twist. Dunn is a hippie, not a hardline survivalist. Music. In 2010, he voiced Buster, also known as Chupa. In Marmaduke, music kept taking steady supporting work too, including a role in the thriller The Company Keep and playing a college football coach in Draft Day in 2014. Then 2015 hit, and it felt like he caught a real second wind. He appeared opposite Lily Tomlin in Grandma as a former love interest, and he also appeared in I'll See You in My Dreams and the indie film Digging for Fire on TV. His guest role on FX's Justified won him the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Guest Performer in a Drama Series. One write-up summed it up perfectly, calling him a leading man. Again at 71, no cowboy hat required, and, pointing music out how he had spent decades dealing with being too wipey cast as America's cowboy, only to suddenly be seen in a fresh way. The message was clear. Even after all those years, Sam Elliott was still finding new lanes. And that made people lean in even more for what came next. The